Hello, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for middle Americans where all middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you go. It just matters that you're here right now and that you're embracing your middleness so that we can find solutions for our country, for our people, for the world, and all of that stuff. So I just want to let you know that I really appreciate everybody being here. Really quick trip down to Abilene on Thursday of last week. Was it Thursday? Let's put it. I started traveling on Thursday. I got there on Friday. Spent Saturday with my good friend. Congratulations to Trevor Smith, Chief Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, retired as of the end of this month, I believe, officially. But Trevor and I are good buddies, and I just want to say congratulations and thank you very much for your 29 years of service. Absolutely incredible run for you, my friend. And can I also say, welcome to the dark side of the retirement from the United States military. I cannot tell you how much you're going to love it out here. So let's go do this. So, hey, Don, how you doing? Congratulations on winning the gold medal in the Mickey in the Middle Olympics for a first comment, and greatly appreciate that. So, hello, Don. Hi, Carolyn with the silver medal, and Darla with the coming in with the bronze. Darla's been killing it lately. So's Carolyn. Don's been doing pretty good too. So, hi, Susie. Darla Stewart, I am back home. I'm telling you, I got back home last night. It was 51 degrees and stopped raining about a half an hour from home. So I rode in the rain on my 2018 Honda Goldwing, the best bike in the world for long distance travel. And it was between 55 and 51 degrees with rain for 6 hours yesterday. So it was an incredible trick. Hey, Kim Barry, how you doing down there? Cammy, oh my goodness, how are you doing? And Kim is traveling, so she's currently in Birmingham. That's absolutely outstanding. So welcome to the big show, everybody. I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a good night tonight. So tonight, we're going to talk about two things. So we are going to get to the Elon Musk free speech topic, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But before we do that, I need to have one more conversation because I had conversations this past weekend. I got to bring these things up. I got to bring. Somebody just sent me. There it is. Had a conversation this weekend about a show that I did last week about sex and the conversations that we're supposed to have with children about sex, because the world is changing. I mean, I understand it. I'm Mickey in a minute. Definitely the world has changed since I was a kid. And before I get going, I want to bring in Nicole. You know that she is my niece. She is a different generation than I am. She is a different gender than I am. She is in a different state than I am. She is significantly younger, significantly better looking. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am so glad that she is joining me on so many of my shows because I love her input and I absolutely love her. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Nickey in the Middle. Hey, Nickey, how you doing?
I'm good.
That's awesome. Who do you got there?
That's Sweet Pea.
That is awesome. So
Thank
is Sweet Pea, does Sweet Pea know the gender of which Sweet Pea is?
She does.
All right. So Susie says hi and Darla says hi. Pam says hi. It's hey, everybody. How you doing, Pam? How you doing? So, all right. Before we get started, how have you been and what you been up to?
That might be an entire show.
How about just hanging loose in Mississippi?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
That's all right.
Tornadoes didn't hit my house. We'll go with that.
I'm going to tell you, that is
We've
absolutely
had
awesome.
327 severe thunderstorm warnings since last month on the 22nd.
Are you serious? That's insane numbers. That is crazy.
So, yeah.
That is absolutely insanity. So what I want to do is I want to read you some of the things that I had on my Facebook page last week, real quick. I had them brought up and now they just disappeared. So hold on just a second. I gotta get to the comment really, really quick. It shouldn't take me very long. All right, so here's what the general idea is. The general idea is somebody made a comment back to me that said, I would rather Disney started a conversation between me and my child that I was not expecting than not having that information, or having that information sprung upon my child and my child being unexpected, not expecting any type of a conversation. So they want somebody else to start a conversation with their kids. Even if it's not known to them, they want somebody else, because the world is becoming a more inclusive place, right?
Well,
So we know that.
Here's my question.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Time out.
Yep.
Everybody, I'm a Disney fan, but
everybody's huge Disney fan.
Huge. I'm a princess. But they're blaming Disney. Have you turned on Nick at Night or any of these other cartoon networks? Like, I saw a post from a friend the other day, and it was literally like the action going on a preview on YouTube on a kids network. So is it really just Disney, or is it just the ability for them to put it out and get away with it?
Society at large.
Right.
Society at large. Now listen, I'm going to tell you what, back in my day, we did not have a lot of openly gay people that were known to be, quote unquote, out of the closet, that were known to be anything other than heterosexual. And then that's why they had to hide their identities.
There was a stigmatism.
There was a stigmatism about having a sex or gender that was other than heteronormative. And so the thing is that since then, you got to remember, I met my first gay person in high school, and that was back in the 1970s. And then, as I've told this story many times, after I was shocked and amazed that these different genders existed, I literally hung out in gay clubs until I turned 20. I don't know whether you know that. Have you ever heard that story?
I've slept on a few couches in gay clubs, so
yeah, I'm just saying, right? So what I'm saying?
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, I know. I know. My mom and dad right now are turning over in their grave. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Grandpa. But the simple fact of the matter is that I've known gay people my entire life, and the transformation of our society since the late 70s into the 80s, into the 90s, when you had Freddie Mercury, when you had Elton John, when you had Rock Hudson come out as being gay, when you had all of these different actors and actresses come out and support the LGBTQIA communities, that we have known that gender is actually a thing that is part of our normal society. And as such, there's a huge difference between the way that our culture looks now and the way that our culture treats people that are different than heteronormative than way back in the 1970s and early 80s. Where do you think the world sits right now, Nicole? Where do you think the world sits as the world views non-heteronormative people? Was that too much for you?
What are you talking about, sir?
All right. So right now you can be you can be gay, you can be trans, you can be bisexual,
right.
You can be asexual, right? LGBTIA, right? You could be intersex, right? Nobody's sitting around. The most of society is not running around screaming at the top of their lungs that anybody that's not straight needs to be anything, right? Is there a huge part of society that there's a bunch of people that are not accepting that there are people that are different in this world, whether it's racial, whether it's religious, whether it's whatever. And this actually has to do with the second part of the conversation, because
There's
we're about to talk about Elon
there
Musk.
there are bigots everywhere.
There are bigots everywhere.
And the
Yes.
reason why everybody needs to just accept that is they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what you want to pay attention to. Move on, make the world a better place. You don't have to pay attention to the ignorance. Like, I don't understand how we've gotten to the point where it's like we're fighting over this.
Right. Well, so the question becomes, most of the people that I know are not bigots. I told one story about my trip down to Louisiana where I ran into somebody that was obviously a bigot, and it shocked me, but I was not going to say anything that could change that person's mind. So I dismissed them, and I'm not going to say that I'm going to wait for the day for them to die, because that would be mean, but eventually that person is going to be dead, and then because their other people in their family are not that way. The other people that are in their family that are in younger generations are very accepting of different people in the world, whether that happens to be race or religious or gender or sexual identity or everything else. So your generation and the generations of millennials and the generation of Gen Z, I believe that they're very accepting of people of different genders and different sexual identities. Would you say that that is true?
I would say that.
Right. Jackie says some of my best friends are gay. Yeah. I think that everybody today has gay friends. Even bigots have gay friends. I'm telling you right now. Why y'all trying to test the Jesus in me? Yeah. All right. Yeah. And that is true. So the religious connotation of that is also significant and real. It really is, because I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of this whole idea that religious groups are not tolerant of people of different lifestyles, and I have found that not to be true. Except in the realm of marriage, and that's specifically inside of their own religion, where they say, hey, look here, that is either acceptable or not. But everybody always says, especially if you're in the Jesus crowd, love thy neighbor like they would love themselves, right?
Thank you.
Everybody says that, love thy neighbors, but you do not always have to approve of what your neighbor is doing.
Love thy neighbor. You ain't got to like them.
Love thy neighbor, you ain't got to like them. That is correct. So, and then Jackie says Verizon tested you. So Jackie says Verizon tested you, and then laughing stuff. So that's kind of funny. All right. So, and here is the reason why I brought this up today. So somebody messaged me and said, Disney has no more access to my kids than any other media provider. I'm really confused about the outrage. If I am a producer of children's programming, then I will have to present children's issues, sexual identity, puberty, cultural identity, sense of individuality, are all issues that children face. So why would I avoid discussing them? For example, when I was growing up in a small town, Bobby, the pastor's kid who ran my daycare, only ever wanted to play with Barbie dolls and wear makeup. Everybody knew at the time and said you weren't supposed to do that. So we would make fun of him. There wasn't a single thing wrong with Bobby. He was just a kid who liked what he liked. Maybe he was expressing sexuality through play, which would be perfectly development appropriate, but he wasn't allowed to watch TV and certainly had a Christian upbringing. So I don't see that he was being groomed to play with dolls and wear makeup, unless you count his older sisters that were also children. The kid would have been really much happier if somebody else come along and let the rest of us know that it wasn't a big deal. Instead, his parents would try to make him uncomfortable and humiliate him when he would express themselves. That is the lesson was taught by me: treat others poorly and they don't conform. All right, so the message goes on. But here's what my point is about that. That was a long time ago. That was, again, 40 years ago. And the world has changed since Bobby was playing with dolls. So now the question is how is somebody going to be introduced into that subject? And then he says, I don't understand why you have a problem with free speech and why you have a problem with Disney doing what Disney's doing. I'm going to tell you really quick my problem with Disney is. Disney objected to the law in Florida that says that the subject of gender and gender identity, sexuality is not going to be addressed in the kindergarten through third grade. And I wrote a memo, and I'm going to read some of that to you so that I can explain what my position on Disney is. So, Bobby was not the subject. So I said, dude, stop changing the subject. This isn't about Bobby. Nobody should be introducing people to sex and sexuality underneath the age of 10 by other than anybody except in the family. If you are a teacher, your job is not to teach or not to help children identify their sexuality. The problem is that a teacher needs to say, look here, we need to treat everybody with kindness. We need to treat everybody as if they are part of this community. And when somebody says, well, who are you married to, Mr. Johnson? And then Mr. Johnson says, well, I'm married to my husband, Steve. Oh, there's two dads in your family? Yes, because in this country, you can love whoever you want to. Now, let's get back to coloring books. Don't be mean to people that are different. That needs to be the message that is carried in all kindergartens through third grade. And the simple fact of the matter is that Disney was fighting something that they decided to politically go after the state of Florida because the state of Florida said, and I quote, where is it? This is a direct quote from the law. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. I don't understand why Disney would oppose that single statement. I don't understand why Disney has a problem with the simple fact that the state of Florida has decided that they're not going to talk about sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through the third grade. And it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation or gender is. It just doesn't matter whether you're heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual or pansexual or whatever. Those conversations don't need to occur because there are no state standards or state objectives in the state of Florida in kindergarten through third grade on sex, gender, or sexual identity. That means that if you're not following the state standards, which is established by state officials in the state of Florida, that means that you're not teaching kids the things that you're going to school to teach them. Now, and here's the statistics. 93% of parents believe that sex education needed to be taught in middle school. 96% of parents believe that sex education needs to be taught at minimum by high school. Now, not all states are doing that, but it's not a bad idea to follow what parents recommend. And inside of the context of that, you can use biological sex and you can use the gender conversation. But the simple fact is that when you start talking about stuff like this, you have state standards that parents can have input to and corporations can have input to, because that's what free speech is about. And that needs to happen. But the simple fact of the matter is that if it's not in a state standard for kindergarten through third grade, those conversations should never take place in the classroom anyway. However, not bullying people is in a state standard. Understanding everybody's in a state standard. Getting along with your peers is in a state standard. Classroom conduct is in a state standard. So that's what kindergarten through third grade need to be teaching is, hey, look here, you accept everybody who they are. And we all have different backgrounds. We're all different. Racially, we're all different. Religiously, we're all different with the number of moms or dads that we have. But the simple fact of the matter is, you don't have to have teachers addressing that inside of the classroom to specifically say there are genders and we should go ahead and meet those genders. So the statement, if I'm a producer of children's programming, I have to present children's issue, is a load of shit. You don't have to do that as a producer of children's entertainment. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. They've been doing it for 50 years. You don't have to get into gender, sexual identity. And then Nicole says, have you seen the subliminal messages in all Disney movies? But I agree, do not teach children about sex regardless of that. So come on back in there, Nicole. You just heard my rant.
I did.
What do you think about my rant?
Well, I just think it's sad because, I mean, again, parents should control what their children are exposed to. And yes. there are regulations, or there should be, to protect that parent's right. But at first grade, second grade, again, I go back to the meme I saw. Like, they're still eating boogers and crayons and glue and dog food. Like, why are they being told about, you can choose what you want to do? Well, they don't know what they want to do. They want to scream 1 minute and then punch their buddy the next. So why can they choose what gender they want to be?
Yes. So let me show something on the screen really quick. I want to show something really quick. The simple idea that you have to help children do sexual identity is not true. Let me show something really quick. This is the facts. WOMEN. There you go. All right. So everybody has basically defaulted to the two ends of the spectrum. Our men are at one end of the spectrum, women are on the second. Gender means that anybody can have any kind of trait. Anybody can have any kind of trait. If you have feminine traits, if you like nails being done, if you like masculine things like NASCAR, if you like this, that, or the other thing, anybody can go any direction, right? Anybody can go any direction. Now they go, hey, we have to help people find their, identity. That's what they say, right? So no, we don't. And here's the reason why. 97% of people are hetero. That is true, right? So if you split that down the middle, that means that 47 and 47 are men and women, and that 3% are gay, and 0.6 are trans. Right? So why are we having a conversation to identify? Why are we having a conversation? Why are we having a conversation to help 97% of people that are going to end up heterosexual find their identity? I don't understand that.
Well, I think it's more of, and I mean this, like, I don't care what people are, but
yeah, I don't either.
Let's be controversial about something. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
all right, so let me give you one other situation. They're all like, these conversations have to happen in our schools. And that is being pushed by people that are in the LGBTQIA and those that support them, right? So I got a question for you. Do they want religious, right-wing, crazy people that are anti-inclusive and anti-divisive? Not that religious people are that, right? I'm just saying these are the categories of people. Do you want people that are religious, people that are on the right, people that are opposed to heterosexuals, that are teaching first, second, and third grade, having these conversations with your children that you are trying to help them identify their gender? Do you think that somebody that is
Uh,
raising,
I,
right?
okay, so I have a response.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I believe it goes back to the home. If you're having conversations with your child honestly and openly, that should never be an issue. Like if they come home saying, "Oh, well, we talked about trans and gen in first grade," then you need to do something.
Right.
Like you need to speak up because that is not the time for your child to be introduced to that.
I don't want anybody, talking to my kids, right? Especially third grade or below. And I don't want Disney having that conversations or starting the conversations. I want them to say, "Hey, look
I don't,
here.
I don't want
Look
that
at
to
the
sound negative.
look
Like
at the
I'm already worried about it. Like I just said something, but I'm not being negatory like
yeah.
about people in that gender.
No, I
What
don't think that you are. So
I just don't think that
if
my
they think that
niece
I am,
at 6 years old needed to be told, "Hey, if you want to be a boy, let me show you how it's done."
yeah, right. Especially considering those conversations can help happen later in education, and they
Right.
can be made for PG rated,
It's
right?
called guidance counselors. We
It's
had
called
them.
yeah, or psychologists and stuff like that, right? But the other thing is that later programming for Disney can also address those issues.
Right.
Like, you can address those with high school crowds. You can address them in PG movies. You can address them in R-rated movies. And the top priority is number one, what should we teach our children? To be kind, to not be bullies, to be accepting, to understand that everybody is different in many, many different ways, and that there are people out there that have two dads, and there are people out there that have two moms, and there are people out there that have moms and dads, but it doesn't make them less as people, and all of those peoples need to be respected and not bullied, and they need to be whoever
It's
they're going to be.
God's plan, and He
It's
made
God's plan.
is everybody was made perfectly.
Yes.
And if we would all accept it, just saying.
That's what I'm saying, right? So, all right. Here's the next topic of conversation.
All right.
We're gonna do 10 minutes on
All right.
Elon Musk. Have you been keeping up with Elon Musk?
Well, I have not, but I did a little research. So,
You did. So, all right. So, I think the big thing is that Elon Musk got tired of the censorship and the controlling narrative that Twitter has been putting out through their algorithms and through blocking people and by kicking people off the channel. So, he's offered $42 million to buy Twitter. And there's two issues. The first issue is that people are saying that he's a billionaire and he's going to ruin Twitter. What do you think of that?
well, first of all, I don't tweet. So,
Oh, so I've got an account, but I
well,
don't tweet either.
yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
I
tweet
have an
either.
account, but I don't get on it. I mean, I guess why is he trying to give us free speech?
So
Do we
I
not already have it?
so so yes, we have free speech, but not through Twitter. So not
Right?
through Facebook, not through YouTube, not through many of the social media platforms. They control through algorithms what people
Absolutely.
can say
Right?
and what people cannot say.
Absolutely. And
And then they term it
we signed
hate
up for it.
speech. Yeah, they right. So that's what people are saying, right? So they term it hate speech or misinformation, and then you're not allowed, or I'm not allowed to say whatever I want to on the platform without.
Um,
And I did sign up
Uncle
for it.
John, I
Yeah,
tried to post Easter sermon yesterday 3 times from Elevation Church.
yeah.
Check out my page. Deleted 3 times.
No,
I swear.
uh, is that on Facebook?
It is.
All right,
Um,
I'm gonna go check that out.
so it's one of those things like you just have to be persistent, I think. And, free speech, you know, you have to think about people who have fought for free speech. It wasn't easy.
Yes.
So don't get discouraged by people going, oh, well, I'm going to give you free speech. You have it.
Correct. You have it, right? But who can you hit? So one of the problems is they say that Twitter is the new town square and that social media is the new town square. Because what happened in the old days when we started as a country, they had town criers that would go to the square, they'd ring a bell and they'd tell everybody the news. And then people could stand up on a corner and they could yell to whoever would hear them. And you are still allowed to do that. You're still allowed to carry signs. You're still allowed to distribute papers. You're allowed to carry signs and call people or text people. You're still allowed to do that.
Right.
So Elon Musk has said, what I would like to do with Twitter is I would like to be able to buy it and make it less restrictive so that more points of view can be heard on this platform. And if you have signed up for that in the past, you are going to have a greater ability to have your voice heard on this platform. What did I do now?
Oh my God, you sound like the Verizon guy from earlier. Let me upgrade you to the better, like the better thing. I'm going to charge you more. Like it just seems like a repetitive cycle of corporate America going, I know this has been crap, but let me do it better for you.
Yeah.
How does him saying, I'm going to take over and you're going to have more, like, I don't believe it until I see it. Let's just say that.
Okay, but what happens? What happens if he goes in there and he says that we're going to let Nicole post her sermon from Sunday? Does that change your attitude about that?
No.
You still want somebody telling you what you can and cannot post?
No.
Okay, but that's what they did with your sermon.
But what am I going to do? Except for tell you and everybody watching, hey, that's why the third time I said sharing again. That's all it says because, I thought it was ridiculous. The first time I said, not your normal Easter sermon.
Yeah.
Don't miss this. Delete it.
Right. So what, and here's what the thing is. What I hear you saying is, and this is what I read when I read not all of the stuff. Obviously, there's millions of tweets out there about this, but one of the prevailing themes was we like the fact that Twitter is filtering stuff for us. And Elon Musk says, instead of having a 10 micron screen, I'm going to try to have a 20 micron screen so that more free speech is allowed. Because I'll give you one great example, and this really, really pisses me off. A team of doctors down in Texas found a rapid healing process from COVID through hydroxychloroquine and many other small drugs that are cheaply available. And they were banned from telling the world about it. I know about it. I've got it written down. If I get COVID, I'm going to get those things, and I'm going to get them as fast as I possibly can, and I'm going to power slam them as fast as I possibly can, because I know that one doctor down there out of 250 patients only lost one patient, and that patient was over 75 years of age and in bad health. And they would not let that information get out. So that means that they lied to people and they stopped people from being cured because people did not know about this protocol for COVID. And it killed people. And that's what pisses me off, because Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they all ganged up and they said, we're not allowing these doctors to speak. And I think that is criminal in and of itself, that we had the ability to get that information out and they stopped that information from getting out. That's what I feel. Simple fact of the matter is that they blocked a lot of content that would have been absolutely useful. But the most egregious is a cure for COVID. That wasn't a dead end statement.
Agreed. Sorry, my internet is shoddy.
Oh, I got it. So anyway, Cammy says it's being done now. Do you trust Elon Musk to actually support total and complete free? No, probably not. No, I don't trust anybody, Cammy. You got to understand. Cammy said it's being done now. Do you trust Elon Musk to actually support total and complete freedom? No, I don't. I think that everybody's going to have some type of a political slant unless you're going to be like me, who I'm almost an absolute freedom freak. And I believe that I have seen too much bad stuff done by bad people to trust everyone other than myself and maybe Nicole. And the simple fact of the matter is that Twitter is knowingly biased. Knowingly. And that's one of the reasons why they're freaking out, because they know that they have been doing some bad shit and they have been politically influencing our nation to their objectives. Hey, what's up there, Pook? And they don't want to let go of that power because they know what kind of power Twitter has. And if Elon Musk buys them, he's going to find out some stuff when he looks at in their stuff, and he's going to find out exactly how bad they are. That's what I think. He's going to go take a look at the books, and he's going to go, oh, my God, these people are criminals. That's what I believe. So with that, I think we're out, Nicole. And we did it in 8 minutes. I love you. Thanks a lot for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Did you have fun?
I did.
All right. Any final words?
I'm just glad to be a part of this. I think it's very important that we open up lines of communication. So I'm excited.
Awesome. And I hope that this does not get banned by Facebook or
it
YouTube.
Probably will.
And here's what the deal is. It will. Did you think that we said anything that was not
controversial?
No, not controversial. That should not be allowed to be said outside of my front door.
Absolutely not.
And that's what Elon Musk has promised. Elon Musk said that I believe that we need to allow free speech in accordance with the laws that are written to protect people from speech. That's all he said. Yeah, we shall see. I definitely believe that. So without further ado, that's going to be it for tonight. So this has been Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans. Remember, 9 p.m. Like, share, hit the notification bell. 9 p.m. Central, right here, wherever I am, right there, wherever you are. Remember, I love you, America. Embrace your mentalness. We need you. So without further ado, good night, small one. I love you. See you, everybody. Bye-bye. Graphics. Where's the movie? I suck at this production stuff. See you, everybody.